Alright, my next ticket is a 2003 Ford Explorer. It says it's on the drive-on rack. It needs a diag, it doesn't run good. So I look on the drive-on rack and guess what I see? You guys know what a Ford Explorer looks like, right? Apparently they don't know what a Ford Explorer looks like up front, because that's an Expedition, not a Ford Explorer. We're going to find out why it runs rough and the check engine light's on this Ford Explorer. The heck? Let's hook up Mr. Launch Torque, see what he thinks. You guys want my guess? You know, I like to make guesses when I get in there before I even hook up anything and do my diag. So I'm going to give you guys a guess. This is a 2003, by the way, Ford Expedition, sporting 200,710 miles on the clock. Turn the radio down. There you go. Go ahead and read this VIN, and get this vehicle in my scanner. But my prediction, anyway, is going to be vacuum leak, ruptured PCV hose on the intake manifold. That's what I'm going to guess. It's either that or a bad ignition coil. So, because, you know, even the Ford emblem didn't make it. Alright, don't be mean. Ford guys, watch your channel, dude. We got our list of luxury codes here. We're going to find out why the engine and the computer that controls the engine are not happy. So what we can see right off the bat is mass airflow sensor code. This P1000 code means someone cleared codes at some point. It hasn't come out of the list of codes yet because it hasn't been long enough. Sometimes it's a couple ignition cycles, could be up to 50. It depends. The mass airflow sensor, low input. It's either disconnected or plugged exhaust, something like that. Sometimes the mass airflow sensor just go bad, but that's pretty rare. O2 sensor lean, bank 1 sensor 1. O2 sensor stuck rich, bank 2 sensor 1. Which means this might be a bad oxygen sensor and it's really rich. But that's just speculation. You know, we're just taking guesses at this point. System 2 lean, bank 1. 2 lean system, bank 2. I'm not sure what happened on the spelling and grammar in those two, but they mean the same thing. It means it's lean on both banks. That also means that one of these O2 sensors is probably lying. So I'm going to go under the hood and have a peek around before we even start this thing up. See if we can find a hose in one of the PCV tubes. Got a big hole in it. Oh, someone's been working on this one. Missing the AC cap. New valve cover gaskets. Got high performance red coils. It's got a new PCV tube back there. That's pretty cool. Someone's been working. I got a new belt, got a new battery, got a new battery terminal. That's a sketchy setup. You guys know these battery terminals are temporary with the when you clamp the cable into this end here. That's a temporary repair. You're supposed to recommend a whole new cable, or solder the cable and the terminal together, or crimp it together. That little strap thing, that's no bueno. Let's see here. Yeah, the PCV tubes, someone's been in here. New PCV tubes, all the coils, both valve covers. Oh, uh-oh. Looky there. You guys see that? We got lean codes and mass airflow codes. And we got that is not conducive to a good electrical connection. Let's go ahead and plug this in. We'll complete the repair for somebody. Hopefully this wasn't done at the Car Wizard or somebody like that, or Scotty Kilmer or whatever. But I don't think Scotty Kilmer's even a mechanic anymore. So he ain't fixing anything. Oh, it got a new oil filter on it. And now that the mass airflow is plugged in, let's see how it runs. I'm gonna clear my DTCs because they may not be happy with the engine running. Oh, completed. That can't be true. Fords don't normally like you to do it with the engine. Oh yeah, look at that, huh? That's pretty sweet. Usually GMs, you can clear the codes with the engine running. Fords tend to get mad. Idle's coming down. Check engine lights staying out. We're gonna let this run a little while and warm up. And then I'm gonna do the KOER, key on engine running test. And I'll do a key on engine off test just for kicks. Someone left the mass airflow sensor unplugged after doing a whole bunch of work. That happens. I won't say that I've never done it, but I will say that at least it's been a long time since I have. I don't like that sound. It's still warming up so I can do the check for codes running and off, but it sounds like a catalytic converter rattling. We'll see what happens. It'll either have a low power or set a cat efficiency code, I would think, but it didn't have either of those complaints. Just running rough. Temperature gauge has got to come up a little bit. It's got less than a quarter of a tank, which in one of these expeditions, that's about 6 miles. We'll let the temperature come up a little more before we do our test. Key on engine running. Step on the brakes. The launch torque doesn't tell you to do this, but if you've done a lot of forwards, you gotta step on the brake and release. Turn the steering wheel to load the PS switch, and then you gotta cycle to overdrive. You don't have to set any records doing it. Don't do it too fast. That's annoying. I'm not going anywhere, seatbelt warner. You got to do those 3. It won't hurt anything. It'll just set a code for the switches not working if you don't do the test while it's running it. Do the procedure while it's running the test. There it is. The only code of importance that came back is the 174 lean bank 2. The P1000 just means the codes were cleared. So I'm going to clear them out again. I probably won't get them back now. Come on, baby, you can do it. There it is. Now I'm going to go into data PIDs and pull up my O2 sensor data and compare left and right and see what we see with that. It may have a bad oxygen sensor or something along those lines, I'm thinking. I didn't see any vacuum leaks feeling around with my hand under there. Everything looks like it's been changed, all new tubes and rubber hoses and stuff like that. So someone's done all the work already, but they either had leaking hoses or they were hoping that was the lean code. So let's figure out which it was. Those should be some good data PIDs. No error, no error. Fuel trims. Whoa, short-term trim, what the heck? That can't be right. Let's start this thing up. It's not even running. There we go. Now we got a ton of fuel correction because of the mass airflow sensor, I'm thinking. See if that comes back down. That's what we want to see. Switching positive to negative, because these wideband O2 sensors, they're constantly in correction. It's either too rich or too lean. So the computer should always be chasing the oxygen sensor if it's working correctly. The O2 goes rich, and so it leans it out, and then it goes lean and riches it back up. So the computer's always kind of doing this, kind of correct things, while the oxygen sensor goes back and forth. So the long-term trims are way off. I'm gonna back out of this, clear the fuel trims, the fuel learn memory real quick to try to correct that, and then see where the short-term trims are after that, because this was running with the mass airflow sensor disconnected. Alright, now that I reset the keep alive memory, or KAM, we'll see what this does. The long-term zeroed. The short terms will run a little rich, but it's trying to figure out where it wants to be right now. Now it's pulling fuel out. It's running a little bit rough. Something's still going on. My short-term trims are showing it's lean, especially favoring bank 2. I'm going to go out there and see. There's got to be some more vacuum leaks somewhere that I missed. Someone's done a lot of work on it, so let's see what we can find. I know the major problems on these are good. They're all new. But I bet you I wouldn't be surprised if they left something loose. Forgot to hook something on. Let's see. Oh, there it is. That's easy. They left the, someone's got new parts. There's new parts and old parts. That's interesting. Alright. Oh, that goes there. What do you think? Think it goes there? Oh, there's something else. Let's try it there and see what happens. Worst case scenario, we gotta move it. sure why there's extra parts laying around under here, but I bet you the AC will not only blow on defrost too now. Let's go check out our fuel trims. Alright, oh, we fixed that vacuum leak. Now it's pulling fuel away because it's too rich. So what that means is give it a minute or so and these will stabilize a little bit. I'd expect to see the long-term trims change a little bit too, but it may take a moment. If it can't correct it after a certain amount of time on the short trim, then it'll add to the long trim, which is just moving the fuel trim window, like Overton's window. It just moves it a little bit at a time to get this short-term trim to stop bouncing around so much, or if it favors rich all the time or lean all the time, it'll use long-term trim to correct that. You should see both of these switching rich and lean, and both of these will stabilize a little bit. It may move these to stabilize them, that's all. So I think this one's going to be fixed. Still runs a tiny bit rough, but I'm going to have to let it run a little while and see what happens after it runs a bit. Might need to drive it to set the fuel learn too. Let's see what we can find driving it. Oh, hush up now. It's not that bad. Just a seatbelt. Took this thing for a drive. Running really good now, actually. All my fuel trims are doing good. Get you guys a better view of that. There you go. Long term's corrected, short term's doing its thing, dancing back and forth. So everybody's happy. I'm gonna say this one's fixed. Mass airflow is unplugged. Several vacuum leaks. Someone did a bunch of work to it. Seems awful angry. But this one's done. I'm gonna give him the good news, just charge him an hour diag and include those quick repairs I did. Someone overlooked a couple little things, so thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a pleasure having you here. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video, right? You're awesome.